Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching our Speak You on BloombergQuint Live. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
And Navneet, good afternoon to all of you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alex Matthew. If you've got questions on equity, you know where to send them to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and WhatsApp. You can also call us on 022-454-04141 or you can mail us on ourspeakyou@bloombergquint.com.
All right, but before we get to the individual queries on the show, let's quickly tell you what's happening with the markets. It's Thursday. It's also a day when your weekly options expire for Nifty and Bank Nifty. So far, it's been a range-bound session. In fact, Nifty is just gyrated about 40 points during this session. Let's see if there are any material moves which come about or no in the second half of the session. Sensex up about 63 points. For the broader markets, the breadth has been even-steven since the morning session. I think it's 1:1, and mid-cap as well as small-cap indices have also registered some bit of gains as we speak. Mid-cap index up about 0.5%, and the small-cap index has seen gains of about 0.2%. Pull up the market breadth as well of National Stock Exchange, tells you a better picture of what's happening with the entire listed universe. So just about even, Stephen, as we speak. Very quickly then, Nifty contributors, which are the stocks which have at least kept the index in the positive territory today, and that's been dominated by our heavyweights. HDFC Reliance, by the way, comes out with its earnings tomorrow. Watch out for that. And mild bit of uptick seen for IndusInd Bank and stocks like HUL. Whereas what's dragging the index, or rather what's capping the moves on the upside, are the heavyweights like TCS, HDFC Bank, as well as Infosys. Talking about the top Nifty gainer today, and that's Eicher Motors. The stock's gained about 4%. The reason for that, it's up actually at the highest point of the day. UBS has upgraded the stock to buy from sell. It's also hiked the target to about 23,000 from an earlier target of 18,000. And the stock's, by the way, gained around 10 to 11% so far this week, and it's also moved above its 200-day moving average. The other space which is doing well are the insurance stocks, and it's not about today. Even yesterday, there was a stellar rally seen in this space. So today you've got New India Assurance and GICRE, which were locked in upper circuit of 20% gains yesterday, are seeing further up move. And SBI Life, after posting its numbers, has reacted positively for the second straight day. It's up 4%. A couple of other gainers from the broader markets. Adani Green touches its fresh highs at 12% higher for this stock. 3M India in a very surprise move today. The volumes are on the higher side. It's not a very liquid counter. And last when I checked on the Bloomberg terminal, the volumes have quadrupled, in fact, with the 10% move that we've seen for this counter. Borosil Glassworks, Specialty Restaurants, a couple of your other stocks which have registered strong gains. While on the losing side, you've got Shree Cement, which has reacted negatively to the news which came in yesterday that the board will be considering raising funds on October 19th via QIP. And Bandhan Bank is down for the second straight session, alongside XI2, which was down 2.5% in yesterday's trade, has seen cuts of another 4 to 4.5% so far, Alex.
All right, that's how the markets look, and those are the stocks that are in the center of action today. But let's get our two experts in at this point. We've got Nilesh Jain of Anand Rathi, shares and stockbrokers, and we've got Sandeep Jain of Tradeswift Broking, both here to answer all of your questions. As always, thank you so much to the both of you for joining us on this program. I'd like to take you through a few technical picks that have been sent to us by Nilesh. The first one is a buy call on IndusInd Bank. Remember, it's a bank that has been under tremendous pressure. He says that you can buy it at the current market price with a stop loss of 1,275, and the target on this trade should be 1,340. The stock is currently trading just above that 1,300 mark. The second is a buy call on Bajaj Finance with a stop loss of just above 4,001. The target on this trade is 4,120. And the final trade that Nilesh is suggesting is a buy call on Petronet LNG with a target of 268 and a stop loss on this trade of 258.
Okay, so those are your technical picks for the day, and let's get going and start addressing our viewer queries. The first one comes on YouTube from Nikita Sharma, who's bought 1,000 shares of RBL Bank at a really high price at 705, and Nikita wants a fundamental view in this one. Remember, the stock now trades around levels of 270, 275. So let me take this question to Sandeep. Sandeep, it's a long-term call maybe, and she wants a fundamental view, but the buy price is really high, 700, and the sort of correction that RBL Bank has witnessed post its first quarter numbers, that selling pressure actually still continues. We've not got the second quarter numbers. They will be out next week. But fundamentally, what's the view if somebody's bought around levels of 700 now?
See, I'll be very skeptic about, holding it for the future. And somehow I feel that, he should try to exit on bounce today. There is a bounce also. And somehow when, any negative news or any negative thing is found in any of these NBFCs or any of these banks, generally the reaction is too harsh. And in fact, the market really punishes these kind of stocks very badly. And somehow, lots of other implications are also there. Once there is a negative news, so then the new account opening really gets stopped, and then deposits stops coming, and then those lenders start again asking for their money. So lots of issues generally crop up. So I feel that he should try to exit on bounce. I don't think that things will get good so easily. So he should exit on bounce.
Okay, let's talk about Muthoot Finance. We've got Ashish Rawat asking a question for the intraday trade. So let me read this out. Muthoot Finance intraday level, he has shorted at 639. The current market price is 642. So he's wondering what he should do. Should he book loss on this trade or should he wait? What's the view here, Nilesh?
Well, Alex, the stock is in downtrend from past 7 trading session, and the overall structure still looks negative. We may expect on the downside the target of somewhere, let's say 640 to 635 intraday as well. There could be possibility of a bounce back. Bounce back may come towards the levels of 650. So if at all he has bought Muthoot Finance, then I would suggest he should exit in the range of 648 to 650. The stocks looks weak for the downside levels of 635.
The question was, he's shorted at a level of 639. Currently, he's out of the money. 642 is where it currently trades. He's wondering whether he should wait or if he should book a loss in this trade.
Right, Alex. I think he should wait. The downside levels that I mentioned is of 635, which is very much likely. If not in today's trading session, maybe tomorrow we may see the levels of 635. Overall, it has provided the structural breakdown. Earlier in the month of September, we saw breakout. That breakout was fizzled out. Now, on the downside, 635 is the level where he should look to book profit.
Okay, that's Muthoot Finance for you, currently trading at levels of 642. The next query on YouTube comes in from Navlika Sinha, and Navlika has bought 500 shares of Federal Bank at 125, and she bought these shares 2 years back. She's suggesting she's lost 35% of her capital, and what should she be doing right now? So Sandeep, similar sort of question, and that's what has happened with a lot of investments which were taken in a couple of these banks, maybe 1 year back or 2-3 years back. We've seen sharp correction for a lot of them from the private banking space. Even IndusInd Bank is the one where we've seen a lot of correction. But Federal Bank, they came out with the numbers as well yesterday. Asset quality actually deteriorated sequentially. Slippages were higher. Also, the advances, I think, decelerated, which were at multi-quarter low. The advances growth. But still, within this pack, Federal Bank, if somebody is got at levels of 125.30, what would your advice be to them? The stock currently trades at 80.85.
Somehow I feel that it can give a bounce. Somehow the things are not as bad as RBL Bank. So fine, asset quality is deteriorating gradually. That's acceptable, and somehow those valuations are being also given by the markets, And these old generation private sector banks are treated like PSU banks by the markets and the investors. So somehow valuations wise it is pretty cheap, but then still, I feel that, he shouldn't think or try to average unnecessarily. He should stay put, he should hold the stock. And I think, whenever it goes closer to his price, say it might reach 9,500 rupees. So he can try of, switching at that point of time from this particular stock to some other bank, say maybe ICICI Bank or Axis Bank. I think he might make out some money.
Okay, Sandeep, so we've been talking about insurance companies and particularly the life insurance companies, but yesterday we saw a few other names getting added to the list of companies that are seeing this huge up move. And we've got a question from Suresh Dangeti on GIC Re. In yesterday's session, it was up 20%. The stock is up, in fact, 29% in just 3 trading sessions. How would you rate this for the long term based on the fundamentals?
Oh yes, certainly. This is one stock which we have been recommending since last few sessions, and somehow we feel that technically yesterday also it was at a very good position. Then fundamentally, if you see general insurance numbers, the growth of the general insurance industry was very impressive. So I feel that this particular company, since it's a reinsurer and it is the only company in fact listed from the reinsurance sector, and I feel that the valuations are pretty cheap and it is at a very good corrected level. So we recommended this stock, and in fact it's 20% up yesterday also, and today also it is 4% up. So I think those who are holding it, they can continue hold it. And I feel that the way life insurance sector is doing, ICICI Lombard in fact was an outperformer. So all these insurance sector companies will certainly do well, and I'm really very bullish about these companies. But now since they have actually rallied a lot, in fact contrarian to the markets, so I feel that it might take time to go up from here now onwards. So one has to wait for some declines to make a fresh entry. But otherwise, those who are holding it, they can certainly hold at least GICR.
All right, remember it's the second straight day of strong gains seen for the entire pack, and that's the insurance space. On Facebook, Aryan Singh wants to know whether he should look to short Asian Paints at current levels. But Aryan, the stock's been on an uptrend after its first quarter numbers, bucking the trend in the consumption space. I really don't know if it's the good strategy to deploy, but I'll take your question to Nilesh. Nilesh, Asian Paints has been trading around its 52 all-time high levels. Would you advise someone to short a counter like Asian Paints, which has been on an uptrend for the last 3-4 months?
Well, Navneet, you have rightly mentioned the stock is in a clear uptrend, making all-time highs. So it's not a good idea to short at the stock that is showing a good amount of strength. In fact, the stock is making higher top and higher bottom. That clearly indicates the stock is heading towards 1850 kind of levels. There could be possibility of some sort of profit booking at a high level, but that should not be utilized as a selling opportunity or shorting opportunity. Rather, one should wait for some sort of a dip and reinitiate a long position for the upside target of 1830 to 1850. For all long position, the stop loss should be strictly placed below 1700.
All right, we've got a question on Federal Bank user Liverpool 88. We've done it. Okay. We've got another question on ABB India. Nikunj Patel is looking for a long-term view on this counter. Let's pull up the chart and see where it's currently trading. Not doing much in trade today, having fluctuated between gains and losses, currently trading flat at 1518. Sandeep, how do you view this on the fundamentals?
Oh yes, certainly I like this stock a lot. In fact, these kind of stocks are actually, are fancy in the markets now, because see, when FIIs starts investing, they will certainly look at those companies where they have good comfort, and these are some MNCs where, they really find comfort in investing. The corporate governance issues are not there, the quality of business, the quality of balance sheet, everything is there. Though it's a bit expensive, on the expensive side, but I feel that it's a fantastic stock to buy, and one can certainly buy at these levels for a target of around 1700 plus.
Okay, that's ABB India for you. The next question is on LNT Infotech, and Rangarajan Balakrishnan has written to us on Facebook. His entry level is 1684, and I believe these levels were seen last month, and from those levels the stock's corrected to about 1500. What he wants to know is whether he should look to average now at current price of 1500, hold his position, or completely exit. Nilesh, what would be the advice if the entry price is somewhere about closer to 1700 rupees?
Well, Navneet, if you look at the structure for LTI, it has found support of the low of 2018. The low was placed at 1450. So I would suggest the overall structure indicates the stock is forming a base. Now there could be possibility of a strong pullback rally. The pullback rally may come towards the levels of 1550 to 1600. So I won't suggest adding a long position or averaging at current level, but for all the long position that he's holding, I would suggest one should keep a strict stop loss below 1450. I'm expecting a pullback rally that may come towards the levels of 1550 to 1600.
All right, Shubrendu on Facebook has got a question on VATech Wabag. I just do want to point out, in the interest of time, we addressed this yesterday. I don't think the fundamentals have changed since then, and in fact, we have we have a report on the website as well, BloombergQuint.com. There are various reasons, fundamental, why this stock is seeing a lot of pressure on the downside. But I'll take another question for another stock that has seen significant correction, and that's Yes Bank. Opilyapan Kumbakonam has got a question on Yes Bank. I believe he's asking about the fundamentals. Sandeep, at what level do you get some comfort for the long term and say that you are going to enter? What are the parameters that you're watching for?
See, at this point of time, it's very difficult to predict the future course of action, but somehow I would really be looking at, who will be the takers of the company. So let's see how it happens, because see, somehow when it comes to the quality of, say, the management now is certainly is appreciated by the markets. But then when it comes to the asset quality, the problems of the past, so those are actually affecting the prices, and somehow it is facing a resistance at around, say, 40, 45 range. So let's see, today it's a bit up, but then I feel that, those who have bought at higher levels, they might think of not exiting the stock, because at these levels, somehow I feel that it is no point exiting the stock. But somehow 30-35 rupees is one level where, last time it took a support. So we have to check both the fundamentals, both the technicals, and lots of news action also. So it is very difficult for a normal trader or a normal investor to trade in these kind of stocks and try to burn their fingers. So those who are actually on the screen all the time, they can be there with strict stop losses, but somehow I am not recommending this stock to actually risk on or explore. Yeah.
Okay, that's Yes Bank for you, currently at 42.43, no respite for this stock. Ujjwal Kumar on YouTube wants a short-term view on HDFC Bank and TCS. So I'll just take one stock right now. If we have more time, Ujjwal, I'll take the other one as well. Nilesh, so for HDFC Bank, what are the technicals suggesting? It's a heavy weight. Do we see up move in the coming days?
Well, from positional perspective, I still think there could be some more upside left. If you look at the very short-term perspective, the stock is in the consolidation mode. On the higher side, it has a major resistance at 1240. As long as it trades below that, there could be possibility it may retest the levels of 1190 to 1200. So as of now, there may be some more consolidation going forward. But from positional perspective, I think on the higher side, 1280 to 1300 could be likely going forward.
Okay, and I think we've got a fundamental query also going on HDFC Bank. Sandeep, so Preetham wants to know if this stock, that's HDFC Bank, which has been giving consistent returns for the last 10 years, can it give 30% return in the next 3 years?
See, that's very difficult to predict, but somehow, looking at the past, one can certainly expect at least a 20-25% CAGR, because this company has been very, very consistent in giving quality growth with asset quality being maintained. So that's the best part about this bank, and it's all due regards to the quality of management. Mr. Aditya Puri, they have been doing fantastic business. So I feel that, one should hold the stock, those who are holding it, and one can try to invest also whenever it comes on declines. So I feel it's a fantastic story. 30% will be a bit higher to expect, but 20 to 25 is one thing which I can really foresee.
All right. Sandeep, you've already spoken about your view on the insurance space, and you said that you're bullish. You're saying that existing investors should hold put. So a short answer will do on this one. Sanjay Singhania is holding as much as 1,000 shares of SBI Life that he bought at levels of 670. He's asking we should book profits at this point. Would you advise him to hold on? Stock is at 915, 16.
Yeah, that's right, because it has actually given a great rally, in fact, in last few sessions also, and somehow I feel that, HDFC Life or SBI Life, for that matter, and even ICICI Pru, all they have actually outperformed the markets. So, see, if he is a long-term investor, then I think he should hold it. But if he's a trader, I think then he can explore some profit booking.
Okay, that's SBI Life. Remember, the numbers have been good, at least in terms of value of new business. The margins also from there have gone up for this company. Ujjwal wanted to know about TCS, and I think we've got one more query on TCS. That's from Joel. He wants a technical view. He's currently holding a position at 2001. He wants a short-term view here. Nilesh, after a blip post the numbers, the stock did slip a little bit, but I think it's been a strong recovery from those lower levels. What would you advise? What are the technicals suggesting on the charts with regard to TCS if somebody is holding a position at 2000 levels?
Overall, the stock is still in the downtrend. From past 3 months, it is making lower top and lower bottom. The recent top that it has made is of 2050. Now the fresh leg of rally will come only about 2050. Till then, there could be possibility of some more pressure towards the levels of 1980 to 1950. I wouldn't suggest going long at current level. Wait for the breakout which will come about 2050, or at the same time, if stock reaches the levels of 1940 to 1920, that could be the ideal level to again reinitiate the long position.
I want to come back to you, Nilesh, on State Bank of India. Stock is currently trading just about that 200 or just below that 260 mark. What would you say with regard to the technicals, and what levels are you watching out for? Sunayan Chakraborty wants to know.
In all the PSU banks, we have seen huge amount of selling pressure. We haven't seen any sort of recovery. But now, if you look at the State Bank of India's chart, it is forming base, but breakout is still awaited, which will come about 262. Till the time it trades below that, there could be possibility of some sort of consolidation, which we have already seen from past 8 to 10 trading session, which may continue if the breakout doesn't come about 262. If it manages to break above the same, then on the higher side 270 the immediate target that one can look for. For all the long position, the stop loss should be placed at 251.
Okay, that's your technical view on State Bank of India, which is trading with gains of 1% right now. The next query is from Harshita Gupta on YouTube, and this is on NBCC. She's got 500 shares of NBCC at 125, and she's saying she's added 125 shares at dips of 5%, that too 4 times, and she's lost 70% of her capital. She wants to know what should she be doing, because the current price is down to 33 rupees on this counter. Sandeep, we've discussed this in the past, and not only with you, but most of our fundamental experts, even the technical experts who come on the show, that for a stock which has been trending downwards, it may not be a good thing to start averaging, and that too multiple times. What would you advise someone for NBCC where 70% of the capital has been lost?
See, at these levels, somehow I cannot dare to ask her to exit also. Somehow, those fundamentals are intact, but then, since it's a real estate company, and then since the government is exploring something like, they have to come to the rescue of some beleaguered companies, they have to help on. I think all those things are actually affecting the company's fundamentals, and somehow I feel that, that is what market is not liking. And at these levels, I think he or she should not unnecessarily try to average. Just stay put. I think it should take a support at these levels. They are already very, very corrected levels, and somehow the company's best part is that the order book position is always very good. And in fact, all the monetization of these assets, there is a big meeting today regarding the asset monetization of non-core assets at Deepam. So I think, this company might get some benefits out of that policy. So I think one should stay put and hold the stock for some time.
All right, it's time to hit the rapid fire segment. I'd like to point out that we are going to take as many queries as possible in the span of 2 minutes, and a quick reminder to both our experts to keep their answers as short as possible. I'm going to take the first one to Nilesh on Power Mech projects. Can you provide us with a technical view? Gaurav Jaggi wants to know.
Power Mech, yes, I got it. It is currently trading somewhere close to 686, if I'm not wrong. The stock is in a consolidation mode. The overall trend is down. 650 on the downside is very much likely, so avoid creating long position at this level.
Okay, Sandeep, fundamentally, do you like stocks like SH Kelkar and Deepak Nitrite?
See, somehow SH Kelkar and Deepak Nitrite, someone I have been recommending, but then, SH Kelkar is a good corrected stock. It's a stable kind of stock, not an excellent growth, but then they are good proxy. SH Calcutta is a good proxy to the FMCG play, and in fact, because it's a good raw material supplier to all these HLL, HULs and all these of the world. So I feel one can certainly hold on to the stocks.
Coming back to you, Sandeep, on stock that has actually held on to listing gains, ABB India. Would you say that you can buy at these levels? Isa wants to know.
So somehow I won't recommend to buy this stock. Fine, the business model is different, but then when these kind of different models are there where there is so much of competition from the smaller players also, unlisted players also. So I feel that one can stay hold in it, but then somehow fresh investment will not be recommended.
Okay, Nilesh, technical view on Reliance Industries for the next 1 week. Just a caveat, the numbers come out tomorrow.
Well, technically the stock is looking slightly positive. We have already seen a rally which is likely to continue towards the levels of 1400, which is the immediate target that we are expecting. So one can remain long for the upside target of 1400. The stop loss should be placed below 1370.
Coming back to you, Nilesh, on Trident Limited, Anmol wants to know about the short-term prospects.
Overall, the stock is in a consolidation mode. It is facing resistance at 60. So I won't suggest going long. It may test the levels of 54, which is the immediate support level. So wait for some sort of a downtick. Then probably one can look for bottom fishing in this particular counter.
All right, well, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have on this edition of Ask BQ, but I'd like to thank both our guests, Sandeep and Nilesh, for helping our viewers out with all the queries that they did answer. I'd like to thank our viewers as well for their patience, and I hope that the questions that got answered helped them as well.
All right, don't be disheartened. We'll be back tomorrow. And also remember, we're just a tweet, post, or a call away. So please keep your queries coming. And we promise to address at least most of them through our shows. For all previous episodes, you can visit our YouTube channel or our website, BloombergQuint.com. Keep watching BloombergQuint.